Well, hello and good afternoon. Welcome to the Woman Within's podcast with me, Twyla Jenkins, the founder and CEO of the I Am That Woman movement. I am definitely excited to be here with you today, coming off of a very special trip to my mom's 85th birthday celebration. And I was able to see all of my brothers and sisters, all 10 of us being together. Family is so important. So I want to say happy birthday, Mom. Appreciate you and all of my nieces and nephews who put this weekend's family celebration on. Thank you so much. It was absolutely an amazing time traveling to Madison, Indiana to see my mom, celebrate my mom, celebrate your family while you can. Family is so important. But I'm glad to be back, glad to be here today with the Women Within podcast. We're coming back strong. We're coming back with the I Am That Woman movement, the transformational sisterhood. What we are all about, we're about health and wellness. We are here to help all women as a global women's wellness movement. We're here to help you stay healthy, mind, body, and spirit. We focus on 6 pillars of wellness. We focus on your spiritual, your physical, your mental, your nutritional, your financial wellness to help you live better and more whole. Because why? Because women are always taking care of everybody else. We're always doing so much, pouring into others and not pouring into ourselves. So we are here to help you be mindful. Put that oxygen mask on first and take care of you. I'm especially excited about today's show with an amazing guest, Mimi Styles, one of our amazing speakers for next weekend. So you guys know, if you've been following us on socials, we have the I Am That Woman Wellness Weekend coming up, and you do not want to miss this opportunity. We have some amazing and powerful speakers December the 12th through the 14th here in Chicago, as well as on Zoom. So there's no excuse, ladies, if you are ready to move into next year with a plan and be the transformative woman that God has a design for you to be, then you want to be right where we are next week. And so Saturday, it's in Chicago. It's live for $125. And we're doing an amazing sound bath on Sunday for only $30. So make sure that you click on that QR code, get that QR code right up there in the corner, and make sure that you register. No excuses. Friday is free. Saturday in person, only $125. Sunday for the sound bath, only $30. And I'll also be doing the podcast live. So make sure that you register because we have some amazing speakers. Today, I'm bringing you one of those amazing speakers, Mimi Styles, about one of the most important topics that we're going to be addressing next week, and that is AI. Listen, ladies, we cannot be afraid of it. We cannot sit back and wait on it. We have to be ready so we can stay ready. And Mimi is here to tell us a little bit about what she's going to be sharing next Saturday. You still need to be in the room, but listen. This woman is so powerful that I wanted to make sure to have a pre-conversation with her because so many of us don't even know what AI is. We don't know how to use it. We don't know if we need to use it. And so what are we here to do? To help give you information, resources, events, and keep you well informed. So without further ado, I'm introducing our sister today to the stage, Mimi Styles. Hello, my sister.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today. It is an absolute honor to be here today and to talk with you. It's a great day. It's a great Sunday. So thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast.
You are welcome. And you're right. It is a great day and it's a great Sunday. And it's always a day to talk about AI. There's not a day that goes by on social media, in the news, in conversation. If AI is not coming up in your conversation, something is wrong. So Mimi, before we get into the conversation about AI, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, my name is Mimi Stiles, and that is my real name. I tell everybody that, that's when I met my husband when I was 14 years old, and he told me his last name was Stiles. And I said, I'm going to marry you for your last name. And that is exactly what happened. 26 years later, we're still happy as that time then. So, but yeah, I also get to serve as the founder and the president of a research and data activism organization that also does ethical technology called Measure. And so it's an amazing organization full of Black women that are researchers and also techies and just fabulous women that really believe in lived experience as data, right? And at the same time, my energy right now has been going towards the interrogation of artificial intelligence. As you mentioned, AI is everywhere. And it is just becoming definitely another pillar of a system, as these different ecosystems that we navigate every single day as Black women. And so as it is here and it is not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, it's just going to continue to grow and continue to move faster. We have to be the ones that are doing the work to interrogate it and also really know what it is.
Yeah, to interrogate it and to know what it really is. That sounds like some pretty incredible work. I've checked out Measure. I've checked out your website, and you all are doing some amazing and profound work. Tell us a little bit about. I mean, AI seems to be relatively new, but you're well versed in it. What brought you into such a new industry? What kind of brought you here?
So Measure has been around for about 10 years now, and we have always centered, Black women in data, right, and in technology. And so we've always been one that would push back against data that does not serve us or data that harms our community. And so in doing so, this has really just become a continuation onto the work that Measure has done for so long. We are an organization that does advocacy and research, and in many ways, research to local advocacy. And what that means is that we go to our community, we ask those hard questions about how is this technology hurting you or harming you? How has data not told the story that it should tell, right? Research for so long has continually told us about who we are without asking us. And we also know that traditional research that's, in many academia settings and so forth, have not been telling our stories the way that we know them to be true, right? And so Measure has done that work. Some of the wins that we've seen at Measure is being able to really tell how the Crown Act is important to Black women in Texas. As a result, we were able to get the Crown Act passed locally in Austin, Texas. We were able to get it passed in another small city in Texas called Pflugerville. And then we were able to get it passed alongside the powerful Black woman representative, Bowers, for the entire state of Texas, right? So things like that have come from the power of Black leadership, the power of Black research, and Black women fueling it. So technology and data has always been a part of who we are at Measure.
And running full speed ahead into that exact point lands us to AI, because AI is not going to tell our stories in a positive way, and certainly leave us out of the numbers. What I've heard so many, like John Hope Bryant say, who just launched a new foundation on AI, is that right now, more than ever, we are on a level playing field, right? AI doesn't really have a color on it. It's up to us to get well informed, to use it, and to be well versed. And so, to your point, in the work that Measure is doing, why is it so important Mimi, that we get ahead of it as much as possible, or at least get on the bandwagon of understanding what AI is and how we use it in our community?
Well, let me start with this because I always like to start with a little bit of like AI literacy because even though it's everywhere, there's a lot of folks that are still really interested in knowing like what is this thing, right? And so people tend to kind of throw the term AI, artificial intelligence. It's a type of technology around that, like it's something like magical or mysterious, right? But at its core, AI, artificial intelligence, is really just a system that learns from patterns. Like that's what it is, right? It literally is a system that learns from patterns. What makes most sense, it reasons in order to create a pattern that makes sense. So let me break it down for you a little bit, the way that I also understand it and how I like to explain it to my community is that artificial intelligence is basically, at the end of the day, a very fast prediction machine, right? It is a very fast predictive model. And so it looks at huge amounts of data, lots and lots and lots of data. And we've been hearing about where it's been getting some of this data, right? And it massive. And so what it does is based on all that information, it tries to predict what should come next, right? So it looks at words, what makes most sense, what should come next. That is basically what artificial intelligence is. But here's the part that people don't always hear or don't always understand is that AI is only as good as the data that it is fed. It's just like people, right? So like whatever goes in is what is going to come out. And if the data is biased, then the AI will be biased. If the data is incomplete, then the AI will also be incomplete in its decision making. If the data erases people, right, and which we've heard a lot of, the data erases people, then AI will also be a tool of erasure. And we've seen tools of erasure really, really harm, especially Black communities, generation after generation after. We've seen this happen. This is nothing new, right? So when people say AI is neutral and like, oh, it's just, zeros and ones, that's kind of binary code, like zeros and ones. I'm like, no, baby, AI is somebody's, opinion at scale. Yeah. That is what AI is. And we've seen again, because AI isn't a tool that's created with emotion or with, real, understanding, because it is a robot at the end of the day, math that it uses will have consequences.
Yeah, and those consequences can be detrimental, right? If we're not guiding it. Those consequences, to your point, can eliminate. We hear the discussions all the time about the elimination of jobs and the elimination of people being able to need to be used for certain jobs and things like that. And so how do we get on board before we even get ahead of this? How do we even get on board, Mimi? What's important for us to understand about AI now?
I think that the future is human. So let me just say that, like, the future is humanity. The more that we see AI being prevalent in our communities and in our worlds and in our jobs, we are going to value humanity even more. What I also believe to be true is that Black women are the key to better AI. I've always said that, Black women can bring a layer of empathy and understanding and reasoning that no machine could ever replicate. Right. I personally stepped into my role that I do at Measure because I saw how data and technology could harm communities, how algorithmic pain can occur because there was no real checks and balances. I sit in rooms as a Black woman, and just to give you a little bit of a background and a little bit of context, I also serve as the chairwoman of the HBCU AI Conference and Training Summit, which happens at Houston Tillotson University every year. And I also get to serve as the vice president of Responsible and Ethical AI with Austin AI Alliance. And this is a room where it's mostly, not women that, that look like me in the room. But wearing that hat and having that context of what AI can do and what it's going to do, what it is doing right now, I had to choose rebellion, right? I had to choose a data rebellion. And that does not mean that I do not believe in the power, the good that AI can do. That does not mean that whatsoever. It means that I need to continue the work that we're doing at Measure in order to flip the script, in order to show people how to interrogate harmful systems, such as what artificial intelligence can do, to build solutions, even building the training data. Remember, we talked about what it eats is what it, regurgitates. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it's regurgitating, Yeah. But how we need to build solutions that are rooted in community wisdom, right? That are responsible systems that utilize AI, that are equitable, and what I call that is the interrogation of AI. I have a theory called the theory of interrogative reasoning. And what that means is it puts humans with lived experience in the loop, not just beside it. There's a thing that we say in the tech community, human in the loop, human in the loop. What's the human in the loop? I believe that's great, but we need to push it further, right? Mm-hmm. We need to say who are the humans, plural, in the loop. What is the loop trying to solve? And those humans that are in the loop, what is their proximity to understanding the problems that system is really trying to solve? Because right now what you have is tech bros who are saying, we need a human in the loop. We want to go hire that human in the loop. And what does that human in the loop need to know? They're talking about one person. How is this human in the loop going to manage all of these different agents, these AI agents? That's not enough. That human in the loop has to have a whole entire community that is also willing to interrogate the system that human is in charge of, using or building. And so what my question then to, when I sit with these folks is like, okay, what role does women, and especially for me, Black women, and in many cases, in many ways, Black women are the missing variable in artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm. And we have a question. I think that leads right to Tyree. Thank you so much for joining in your question. So the AI can be biased. What can we do to make sure data is there about the Black culture?
I love that question.
The work that you do.
Thank you for that question, because it's a great one. Number one. Secondly, you know what? We have to recognize Black women, Black men that are answering that question right now. We have folks that are building systems like Black Chat GPT, right? That are creating, there's another really fabulous researcher out in at the University of Irvine, Dr. Roderick Crooks, who are asking these major questions. We have to start to elevate folks, voices like Ruha Benjamin, or Sophia Noble, or folks that are doing the work, even myself, right? We're doing this work in order to create new systems that do disrupt and interrupt the current models. So what we're doing at Measure, again, with that theory of interrogative reasoning, is that we're convening communities, right? And there's literacy that has to go into this process. There is consent. I call it the 3 C's: Consent has to go into this process. If you're bringing communities together to say, hey, let's push back against this machine to make sure that this machine hears us and understands who we are as Black folks or as brown folks, they have to consent to it. So there has to be an element of literacy and of governance. There has to be credit given to our community, right? So I just saw, and let me just say this, like I just saw this new social media platform called Fanbase, and they're actually paying, content creators to create that content and to provide data, right? And so they're paying them. That means that they're getting compensated, right? So credit, compensation, consent, all of that has to go into building AI systems that are better and that actually are ones that do not completely erase us, but instead give us some agency. We need agency. We don't necessarily need all of these agents working on our behalf. And so, and then again, and I have to always say this, but Black women, we are the ones that bring the nuance. We bring emotional intelligence, right? We bring lived experience, right? But most importantly, what we bring is accountability that these systems desperately need. So how do you create a better AI? Nobody knows that. So let me start with that. No one knows that. People are still trying to understand what this thing is. Okay. And let me just be completely frank and completely honest with you. And we have a lot of tech bros out there that do not care. Okay. So they're going to continue to push against this, and but at the end of the day, you still have people that are going to hold that line for like myself. And so better training data. If we can produce masses and masses amount of better training data, or if we decide to opt out, there are instances where you just need to opt out. Protect your communities at all costs, right? And say, we're not going to use this system. Maybe there's a better system to use. I'm just going to say this once again, Chat Black GPT, right? It's trained on data that more so reflects our experiences. And so, so as we think about this, AI doesn't just need coders, right? It needs caregivers, it needs visionaries, it needs culture bearers, it needs Black women. It needs us to be the designers, to be the engineers. It needs us to encourage our daughters that are in school right now to go to STEM careers. It needs us to ensure that the teachers can see our Black children and cultivate a spirit of technology, of love for technology in them right now. And so that, to me, is how we build a better system. AI did not just, we didn't have a choice. If we really think about this,
right?
We didn't have a choice, and we're not going to have a choice as we move, as it continues to move further and faster. It's going to move fast and break things. We know that is a saying, right, from a big tech company. We need to say no. We need to slow down. We need to move slower. And we need to heal things along the way. And I believe that technology can also do that. If we can scale AI that harms, we can also scale AI that heals.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. But I think also, to your point about not being afraid of it, but making sure that we are part of the conversations, understanding it, and how we control our narrative. I'm glad to hear about this Black Chat GPT and how we control our narratives. One of the things that I find in the system that I work in is when it's creating graphics, I always have to go in and ask it to change the narrative of the graphic that it's creating. If there are people in the graphics, if it's just words, it's one thing. But if it's people, I always have to go in and say, this is a global women's wellness movement. There's no representation of that until I ask for it. It does not automatically generate images that look like a diverse group of women, right? And so to your point, we have to push those systems to tell our stories and to make sure that even the stories that they are telling, not just to take it at face value, right? So the statistics, the numbers, the information it gives us is not always correct, and it tells you that, right? But I also think that we have, and that's why I love, Mimi, the work that you are doing to push back against how we will be included in the conversation. Because clearly, with everything that's going on right now, we are trying to be excluded. And so we have to do the work. We have to show up and we have to make sure that we are there. With all that you're doing as a community of global women, what can we do to support you?
Oh, wow. First of all, I am one of those people that I'm a woman's woman. Okay. They say like man's man and so forth. I am a woman's woman. So you will see that reflected in my organization and my relationships. I have a group of women who we call ourselves the elephants. And, now I see. So and I know that you're D9 as well. I happen to be a Zeta, but we do call ourselves the elephants, and we just love on one another and support one another. And what I love so much about elephants is that when there's one elephant that is hurt or harmed, what happens is that the female elephants in the wild will the female sorry my
That's okay.
sorry. All right. You know how it is.
I do. Trust you, me.
It is family. So but females in the wild will actually march around that hurt elephant to protect it. So I think that there's no other form of support than unity, to get into alignment with one another. If we know that there is an opportunity to support an organization, whether it be my organization or any other Black woman's organization that is leading the work against technological harm, support her, be there for her, because we know that that there is not enough support for Black-led organizations, especially right now. We are in really harmful territory, to be honest with you. There are Black women that have spoken out against the harm that they're experiencing right now because of this political climate, funding being taken away, right? Just literally the ground being rocked, right? I have personally experienced that in some of the work that I've done for example, at the University of Texas, where I can no longer say certain things that I used to say before, like literal silencing, literal erasure is happening right now in our communities. And we have to name that. And we have to decide, who are we going to be in this time and in this era? I personally see myself as a futurist, right? So I connect with
Yvonne.
Like I am an Afrofuturist. I'm an author. I just wrote a book called The House the 90s Built, that takes people on a time traveling adventure, right? But with that, you know what the Lord has been telling me in the last couple of weeks here? He says, be a woman of this year, right? Be a woman of this month. Be a woman of this week. Be a woman of this hour. Be a woman of this minute. And so when I am here with another Black woman, when I have the opportunity to share what it looks like to step into the power and the purpose and the proximity that the Lord has given me, I need to do that 10 toes down. And I need to see when there's another Black woman that is doing the same exact thing. So what can we do right now for Black women that are fighting against the tide and that have to do this stuff out there in these streets, and these streets are harmful? It's to get in alignment with her, to march around her, to kick up dust in order to move that enemy away. And we have to continue to do that.
Mimi, that was so powerful. And we have never even had this conversation before. I think the first time we met, we may have spoken for 15 minutes. So, first, I want to thank Ken Jones for even connecting us and putting us together. And then you are that woman. Like, that is so true, my sister. You are that woman's woman because we don't know each other. And as soon as I told you what we were doing about the Women's Wellness Weekend, about our organization, you did not hesitate. And I mean, did not hesitate to say, yes, I'm here for you. I'm going to join you. I don't know what research you had done on my organization before, if you even had time. It didn't even seem like it was about that. It was like, listen, this is what you're doing. I'm here for it. How can I support? Even today, with your daughter being sick, and I'm going to let you go shortly, you still showed up. You know, you're still here to spread the word, to help. We've not talked about our spiritual alignment. When you start talking about who God is and how God is working and operating, I was like, okay, I was on the road today, but she's preaching. I hear her. I'm getting my sermon in. I'm getting poured into right now. So Mimi, oh my gosh, you're so right. And that's why we are doing this work for women. That's why the I Am That Woman movement exists, because we do have to, especially now, we've got to crowd around each other. There are so many of us that are being hurt, trying to be harmed. My sister and I were just talking about our Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. You know, we have to surround, support, stand 10 toes down on, give teeth to whatever generation, whatever language that we have and we can relate to. We have to do that for each other right now. And that's what this movement, your movement, what you're doing with Measure, it's all about moving us forward. And I know that we're going to have 50 women in the room next Saturday. Come hell or high water. I just want women to know that this is a safe space for them to come and learn. And our theme is listen, learn, and live, because we have to listen to each other. I don't know it all. And I got to listen to my sister who knows more than me. I have to learn from you about AI and what I can do. And then I have to make sure that we can live together. And that's what our collective power does. Girl, it kicks up the dust. I love that. I love that analogy. We over here kicking up dust. We're going to make sure that there is no erasure of us and who we are. And so we are standing strong. I was looking at social media earlier, and this white guy was talking about, he went to the MCA, the museum here in Chicago, and he was looking at an exhibit, and he had learned something about these Black women who in Louisiana, back in, I forget what period of time it was, but it was some 100 years ago. And the government had made them put headbands on to remind them that they were still enslaved women. He said, baby, them Black women started creating them headbands in all kinds of colors and textures and styles, and, you know, and all of that. And pretty soon, guess what? Every other culture was wrapping their heads in these bands, right? And so,
you're talking on my. You're saying all of that's my people. I just want to let you know, because that was a lot of Creole women, and that's my background. And so having to wrap up our hair so that it was not confusing too. So that people knew that, you know, these were women that were enslaved, that you had to show up in some sort of way. And I got to tell you, I have to let you know, when we talk about, I can't wait for your conference, because as me and you are also connecting, you talked about that spiritual lens. AI and quantum is also very interestingly spiritual, right? When we talk about quantum physics, and when we think about quantum computing in many different ways, we're talking about infinite possibility. So let me just kind of blow your mind here for a second, right?
Okay.
So typically with artificial intelligence or with the regular computing system, you're using what's called binary code. And we'll talk a little bit about this too in the group, but the zeros to one. But then when you get into this quantum era of computing or quantum AI, which is coming soon, right? We have already seen it, right? You're talking about superpositioning. You're talking about 0, 1. So that means infinity. That means there's a power that can be tapped into when it comes to quantum. And so what I connect that to is almost, the power of God, how there is no lack whatsoever. There is nothing that there's no stopping the power, right, of God in many ways. And so I'd also love to share a little bit about that. So that's a little preview, a little snippet, but I'm going to make that case and show you why it is going to be so critical for us right now to get behind what a quantum faith. It's really what it's about. It's about quantum faith. And that to me is who I am right now. I'm a woman that has such incredible, unbounded quantum faith that I know that's why I need to show up, because there is no lack within me. And I hope to share that with the other women that are in the room.
That is so powerful. Our word of affirmation for this month on the prayer line is faith. So every morning, Monday through Friday, we have a prayer community. And when God gave me that word for this month, I know we've had faith before. And the Spirit said, you can't learn too much of faith. I don't care if you had it last month and the month before. It's like, no, it's faith for this month. And for you to talk about quantum faith, and that you have no lack within you to be able to be empowered to do this work. And that's where we have to be. I oftentimes say, as I'm relaunching this movement, that I feel the spirit of my ancestors rising up within me. That I feel this certain urgency to do this work. And no matter what the difficulties, the challenges, the obstacles, that try to prevent us, right? I could have easily, not scheduled today. I'm just relaunching the podcast. And what I promised God was, I said, if there's one that shows up, I'm going to do this work. And just a brief testimony, doing the wellness meditations and prayers every morning, oftentimes, the negativity is always there. And it's a small community, right? And I've been doing it since the pandemic when it was assigned to me to do. And every day I send out the recording as God inspired me to do, to the meditation. And oftentimes, the negativity is like, it doesn't matter. No one cares. No one's listening. Why are you doing this? We're such a small community. You have to get up so early. Most of the time I dismiss it and I just keep going. Saturday morning, I received an email from one of my dearest sisters who I did not even know actually had remembered that she was in the email group that I send it out to every day. We hadn't talked in a while. Mimi, I did not know that she had a traumatic health experience that landed her in the hospital for 12 days or 10 days. Then she traveled for Thanksgiving, had to go back to the emergency room. And she said, Twyler, what I need you to know is that these recordings have helped me more than what you can imagine. So I share this to say for all the women out there who may hear this, who's doing the work, right? Who has that quantum faith, who the enemy is constantly trying to tell you to stop, to slow down, that no one needs it, that no one cares, that you don't have what it takes just to keep moving and keep going and show up next Saturday so Mimi can share some more about what it means to have this quantum faith and what we need in 2026. Because what I'm saying now, Mimi, and I don't know if you'll agree with me, as we come to a close, is we can't do what we used to be able to do to operate in this new era of where we are. So what advice would you give us besides showing up next Saturday and being in that room when you're going to be doing your session? What advice would you give women right now about how we need to be either activating our, I'm not even going to direct it. What advice would you be giving us right now as women?
Well, I love your word. I love y'all's word right now that you're praying on and just lifting. Faith has to be your operating system. So if we're going to continue this conversation on technology, faith has to be your operating system. When you are working in spaces, when you are the only Black woman or the only woman or the only Black man in the room, right? Or in many ways, the only disruptor in the room, your inner compass has to be strong. It has to be rooted in the belief that God calls us to be a steward of justice, even in this moment of technological chaos, because that's what we're seeing. We cannot just talk about it. We have to build these systems. Many of these systems have to be rooted and grounded in faith. So we can't separate our work from our faith. Right? I see AI as just another frontier where our people deserve protection and dignity and empathy and love and opportunity. And I believe that God doesn't give us a vision without giving us a provision to do it as well. And so we have everything that we need. So when you're tapping into your ancestors, right? Or even you as an ancestor right now, we have descendants. We have to design. We have to create, we have to code for our great, great, great grandchildren.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. And so that's what I would give them. And know who you are. I love the name of your show, you know, The Women Within, like, know who you are right now.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Faith has to be our operating system. I usually have a necklace on that says faith. Because it is I say it's my middle name. It's not my literal middle name, but I am Twyler Walking by Faith Jenkins with this nonprofit global women's wellness movement, relaunching, doing this work, not always easy, but certainly always a divine blessing. And that is what you have been today. Once again, just a divine blessing. I feel like I have known you forever. I feel like we have had coffee, tea, dinner, and lunch. And we have not even ever met in person. And this is my first time seeing you, because the first time we even had a call, we weren't even on screen together. Mimi, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time today. A special prayer for your daughter. I'm going to kick some dust up in prayers that she feels better very soon. Next Saturday, your session is going to be at our Women's Wellness Weekend. Let me just show you all Mimi's wonderful photo here, where she is going to be one of our presenting speakers. That's her, Mimi Styles. That's her name. She took it from her husband when she claimed him at 14, baby. She knew what she wanted. And so at the Wellness Weekend next Saturday, she is going to be joining us on our AI session, pouring into us about the importance of AI, what it means, how we are prepared, not just for next year, but moving forward. So if you are that woman who is navigating your next, there are 300,000 Black women out of employment right now. AI can certainly be an asset for you. And so you need to be in this room to understand how how to use it. If you are thriving, while you may be working, career may be launched and career may be good, but you're not taking the time to spend in holistic wellness for yourself, you need to be in the room. Yeah. Because AI can also be used to help you take care of yourself. Yeah. And so let me tell you, Mimi's going to be sharing those things and you don't want to miss it. In closing words, Mimi, anything else?
No, I mean, I just, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm always grateful for the opportunity to share about AI, but also remember that it moves really fast. And as you do use it and play with it and kind of go down the rabbit hole with it, remember to rest. Remember to rest.
Remember to rest. I love that. Ooh, she is speaking some words of wisdom today, and she'll be bringing them back next Saturday. You all don't miss it. Next Saturday here in Chicago. There's the QR code right up there in the corner. Get your phones out and go ahead and get that QR code and join us. Mimi, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you, and I'll be in touch this week with more information about next weekend.
Sounds good.
All right, you all heard it here first. Listen, this has been a profound session. Like, share, and send it to someone else who may need to know a little bit about where we are with AI. Don't be afraid of it. Walk by faith, as Mimi said. We got to be that woman. That is what we are, the I Am That Woman movement. So make sure that you join us for next weekend's Wellness Weekend. We have so many powerful speakers coming to talk to us. Jawan Avant and Chanel Tyler and Valerie Tyler and Sonia Prajuska and Debbie Pickus and Angelina Grant. And I'm telling you, this lineup is the bomb. Dr. Krista Robinson Lyles and Sherry Ledwell and myself. And Monica Moss, the First Lady of Trinity United Church of Christ. My beautiful niece, Mianca Jenkins, Dr. Marina Costina, and also Resna Hill Moore, and none other than also Mimi Styles. So you all don't miss it. Register. There's the QR code. Friday is free on Zoom. Saturday is only $125 here in Chicago. Be in that room. We are talking about our 6 pillars of wellness. Build your spiritual foundation. Go ahead and get information on your nutritional wellness. Go ahead and get that physical wellness put together so your mental, emotional, and spiritual wellness can build the perfect temple that God has made for you to be. And guess what? If you are that woman that is feeling stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, find peace, purpose, and spiritual renewal every morning, Monday through Friday, in our meditation and prayer community. 5:30 a.m. Central Time, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You can join us on a call, 669-275-1828. There's so much going on. This is men and women coming together in a safe community to help you navigate all this change, whether it's AI, whether it's grief, whether it's loss, or maybe you're out of a job and just don't know what to do. Go ahead. Come into this community. Don't be depressed. Get up, call in. You don't have to say anything, but if you need prayer, ask for prayer. We are here to support you. And so I hope that you've enjoyed today's podcast. I hope you've learned something. I hope that it has inspired you to do something and to come out and to be in this community. Thank you so much, Tyree. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. Share this. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. We are out there and we want you to join the I Am That Woman movement. Go to our Facebook page, go to our website, www.iamthatwomanmovement.org. Until next time, we'll see you next Sunday at 4:30, same time. God bless.
Every day is so wonderful, and suddenly it's hard to breathe.